getting ready. You're ready. My guest here. If you read the promo on X, on Twitter X, I should call it. We talked about we got 2 jails, one board to oversee it, and we have one man in the studio to talk about all that, and that is Robert Graham. He's the president of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, and welcome. I've not had any of you on this show, and I've known you for a long time, since we were kindergarten, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have a dialogue with it, and the whole thing. And by the way, let's tell the audience, if you'd like to talk with us, you can call us at 888-808-8637. As always, that number hasn't changed. But I always remember that one, but I never remember the text line, which is 601-879. 4395. That's 601-879-4395. And you can watch us at supertalk.fm/Mary. That's our what do you call it? Streaming. And then this afternoon, well, not this afternoon, even before that, and shortly after the show.
Yeah.
Then we'll be on YouTube for Mary Wieden and You. And remember, Wieden is I before E except after C. Anyway, the big thing, and we've talked about this a lot with the sheriff, big thing in Hinds County these days is the jail.
Yes.
And you have to, the killer of the whole thing is you have to maintain the old jail. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why do you have to spend that money? But you do, don't you? Because you don't know what's going to happen. If something horrible happened and somebody wasn't protected, then there'd be such a terrible liability.
Well, that's very true. The jail that we have now was not built to today's standards, and it's costing a lot to operate the jail. One of the biggest problems that we have, or one of the biggest issues, is the overcrowding. In addition to that, it's costing around $4 to $5 million a year for food, and approximately $6 million a year for medical treatment for the individuals that are at the facility, because we have to pay for their medical care. We also have to pay for their dental care. Anytime they get ready to go to any doctor for anything, we have, if they're in detainee at that detention center, we have to pay for it.
And the thing about a detention center is, we tend to think that a jail is a jail, that somebody's going to be there for a long time. You're not supposed to be in a detention center for very long,
you're not
supposedly.
No, you're not supposed to be there. Your pretrial detainees is basically what we call the individuals that are there that have not gone to trial. And we have approximately 900 individuals at the Raymond Detention Center this morning. We have approximately 200 people at the work center, and about 45 individuals at our juvenile detention center.
That's Henley, right?
Yes, Henley Young, Detention Young.
Henley Young.
Yes.
Well, did anybody, back to that facility, when we talked on the phone the other day, I said that Sheriff McMillan had me come out and look at it before it opened. I thought, okay, fine. I'd never been to a jail before, nor since have I ever been to a jail. But it was empty, of course, except I guess some workers. But I remember the large hall, and I think we went into the control room of a pod because I wanted to see what that was like. Those are the things that I remembered about it. I don't remember going into cells, but, over the course of the years, and in recent years, we've heard these nightmare stories about ceiling parts falling down and locks not working, all this stuff. When did anybody or everybody discover that building itself was very poorly constructed? It wasn't for a while, was it?
It was about 15 years ago. The building's approximately 30 years of age right now. And the maintenance issues that we're having are the maintenance issues that we had for the last 15 years. And as the building continues to get older and older and older, the more issues that we have. And, of course, even though it was poorly built, the individuals that are in there are the part of the problem because of the fact that they're doing everything that they can possibly do to make our lives miserable.
Yes.
Let me give you an example.
Yes.
One of the problems that we had was individuals were saying that the board or the sheriff should make sure that the locks work. And when I was elected supervisor, I said, look, that should not be a problem. I should be able to get a lock to work.
Yes.
I should be able to call a locksmith or someone that will make a lock work. But the detainees would take a toothpaste cap and would put it in the locking mechanism of the door to keep the doors from closing. On the board, it would look like the door was closed when the door was actually not closed. They've invented ways of making life hard for the guards there, for everyone involved with the facility, because they have 24 hours to do one thing, to think of what they can tear up.
Yeah, that's it. That's the best way I've ever heard that put. But a toothpaste cap. Who would think that a toothpaste cap could do anything? Well, obviously, they're very clever. And then there was the problem of stuff going over the fence, and that's
still a problem.
Yeah.
Illegal contraband. Yeah. We've found individuals that have worked at the jail to be bringing in illegal contrabands. People in the woods, people throwing things over, people jumping the fence. Just a lot of different ways that people try to figure out if we stop one way, then they figure out another way to try to get the contraband in. So it's a constant game of cat and mouse.
Don't you have, for the exterior, do you not have dogs patrolling, or, staffing is a big problem, I know. So you can't have people necessarily walking around, but do you not have dogs out there and cameras where you can...
Well, I can't say too much about the security issues that we have in place, but I will say that we do have some security measures in place. But one of the major problems that we have is staffing. That you say it, no one wants to work at a detention center. We've tried everything, Mary. We tried letting people work part-time. We've tried hiring ex-police officers. We've tried security agencies. We've tried a lot, but the environment that they have to work in, people really just do not want to work in that environment. We've tried throwing money at it, giving people raises, increasing the salary of everyone working there, but that still has not changed the fact that people don't want to work in that environment.
I would presume that is a problem that's not just exclusively Hinds County. I'm sure it's every jail in the country has got to be about like that.
It's every jail in the country. Every jail is not unique. We all have the same problems, the same issues. If you were to go to Rankin County or Madison County, it's still no one wants to work in that particular environment.
Well, in terms of getting contraband in there, I think like you go to visit somebody in a prison, you get wanted, and they will find stuff in very awfully private places in a person's body. Yeah. Is that how some of it gets in, or does it get in sometimes from the staff themselves?
It's a variation of ways. Let me give you an idea. This might shock you when I'm going to tell you about this. One of the ways that they were getting contraband in, and I don't think the sheriff would get mad for me saying this, they would have a Bible brought to the jail, and inside of the Bible they would tear out pages, and they would soak the Bible page in some type of substance. I think it was wet or something like that, and the inmates or the detainees would get it and smoke it. So they were actually smoking the Bible.
Honestly.
And here's another one. One of them would one individual brought in a can of Vienna sausage. And you would think there's nothing wrong with that because it was one of the, it's in a can.
Yeah.
And it had not been opened. But what they would do is take the paper wrapping off of it and soak it as well, and then re-glue it back on and bring it back in.
With contraband in the middle.
Yes.
Stuff stuck. Oh,
yeah. So it's a lot of different ways. And, and this, like I said, is not unique to the Hinds County Jail, Madison, Rankin. We're all dealing with the same thing. Right.
Well, so you've got this, I'm sorry you have to have this situation. Wendell France, a public safety consultant who worked as an assistant jail warden in Maryland, he is now a receiver in charge of the jail, as so ordered by District Judge Carlton Reeves. He took control yesterday day before, on the 1st, to fix ongoing unconstitutional conditions like understaffing and the state of facilities at the Raymond Jail. Okay, we just talked about understaffing. Now, how is he going to do? What can he do that's different than what you can do? The whole thing seems nuts to me.
$64,000 question. We don't know. We're hoping that he will have much more success than what we've had. He has a lot of experience. He stated to us, the board, that he plans on moving swiftly and directly. And hopefully that means something that he's going to do to help us improve the conditions there, because the number one issue is 900 plus individuals in a facility that was meant for maybe around 500.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Well, he's also, so I wonder what these unconstitutional conditions are. I don't understand what that would be, because you all have been under the eye of the feds for a long time and done as much as I know you can do. Closed Pod A. That was where there was a riot there years ago. Was that the one?
That's correct.
Some of the guys were hiding up in the ceiling tiles, right?
Correct. And we closed Pod A, which also reduced our capacity to house those approximately 200 individuals.
It could not be opened even on a temporary basis, knowing that you're building the new jail. You could not do something to that place, to Pod A? Is it that bad?
It was that bad, and we were ordered by the courts to close it, and we had no opportunity to do anything otherwise.
Well, if this man is going to get, he says that nearly 250 people needed to operate the housing units, but less than a third of those positions are filled, according to a report about all this stuff. So does this man then come to you, Mr. France? Does he come to you, the Board of Supervisors, and say, I need, X millions of dollars to hire more people? Or does he, through D.C., or somehow through the courts, does he get the money, or does it come directly from you?
From the courts, it comes from the Board of Supervisors. So we have to provide him with the resources that he needs to make the necessary changes that he needs to in order to comply with the consent decree from the judge.
So that's just money that I see could be taken away from the new jail. And the new jail is going to be pretty state-of-the-art stuff. It's
going to be pretty state-of-the-art stuff, but even with that, we're having to dig deep because of the fact that everything has gone up. Inflation. We had a jail that started out costing around $59 million to build. A year later, that's $65 million. So that's just how inflation works, and it's continuing to rise.
Well, what will be the capacity of the new jail?
Approximately 900 people.
Oh, 900. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, the other one was built for 500, so about 900.
Yeah, right.
And so, that's good, I think. Yeah. How is it coming along? I've got some pictures that we put on the air that really don't show you. I know you've got vertical construction, but I didn't come across any. But
the vertical construction's coming along. We have a very, very good company that is constructing the jail. And they are very low key. They've very experienced in building these type of facilities. And we know that they're doing a good job because of the way that they're constructing the jail and the way that they're keeping us informed, the materials that they're using. All of that's different. So we're very pleased with the company, and it's a local company.
Did any of that happen when you were building the current jail? Was there any communication, or was it just leave us alone, we'll build it?
That I don't know, because I was not there then. But you see you see the results of what the old jail. But
I would think this is the most watched jail.
Yes,
I think the sheriff is at it all the time, and rightfully so, because folks, if you don't understand something about the jail, there are a lot of things you don't understand. Nor do I. But it is owned by the Board of Supervisors and funded by the County Board of Supervisors. However, it's run by the jail, by the sheriff.
Correct.
So so that's why he's really on it, because he doesn't want any phony locks, or he didn't want any of that stuff. Whatever, it seems to me it ought to be just like a cement building.
Right.
But yet, you have to be conscious of air and circulation and this kind of stuff. You got to do that.
They have certain constitutional rights that we have to follow and abide by.
What are some of those, by the way, that we might not know about?
That's one of the ones I told you about, was making sure that we take care of their dental,
I'm gonna do that stuff.
Their medication, their trips to the doctor, or in some instances to the hospital. Making sure that they're properly fed, and we have to make sure that they have a particular amount of calories a day.
What if somebody goes on a food strike? Well, then that's
so it's a lot of constitutional issues that we have
sheriff,
to. That's correct.
Really, it would be, I guess. It is a really tough job.
Yeah, very tough job.
And by the way, it's weird seeing the sheriff out doing, the spokesman for JPD. It's like, wait a minute, what happened here? And I'm sure that the sheriff is a good man. He told us here in the studio, when you're asked by John Horhn to do this, then you want to do this,
Right.
and fill in as interim. But he made it clear he doesn't want to be the full-time sheriff. He doesn't want that. But the interim, he's happy to do it. But boy, oh boy, and he's not losing anything at the anything at the sheriff, at the jail, the sheriff's department.
Given what he has to work with, he is doing a tremendous job of running the jail, operating the jail, knowing that every day that he comes to work that he's going to be short of staff, and knowing what the situation is and what he has to deal with on a daily basis. Sheriff Jones, I've been knowing him for over 20 years. He's a tremendous individual and doing one hell of a job.
Did you know him at JPD?
Yes, I did. I was his training officer.
Oh, well, I guess you do know him. No, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, he's very dedicated.
Oh,
I mean, he's very, he's like his vision is law enforcement.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where he's concentrated.
He's
on.
strictly business.
Yeah, he is. And I know he's got a family and all, but he, family is family time. But when it's business, it's business. And when it's business in the middle of the night, it's like being a news guy.
Right.
When somebody calls you in the middle of the night, you get up and you go.
Right.
I mean, that's how that works. And it can be if the family doesn't understand that, it can be difficult. But obviously, if you're married to somebody and they will understand and they will teach your spouse and children, this is how it works.
Right.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at it. He's very good at it. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but laser focused is what I'm looking for. Laser focused on the law. Yeah. And that's what he likes. Yeah. But so how long will this what do you call this guy? Not overseer. What do you call me? A receiver. How long will he be here?
Well, that we don't know until he satisfies the consent decree and the judge tells him that he can leave. So it could be 1 year, 6 months, 2 years. I don't believe that we're going to be able to solve all the problems that have built up over 30 years in 1 year. So he has a very, very big job. He's a very dedicated individual. We're just going to have to see what he's going to be able to do that we have not already done.
This is Robert Graham. He's the president of Hinds County Board of Supervisors. We're going to take a break here and come back. I want to talk about some other things because there are other things happening in the county. One thing to do with taxes, but another thing to do with economic development that I think people want to hear about as well.
Okay.
You're listening to Mary Wieden You, and we'll be back in just a few.
Well, I found out last Monday.
And we'll put him in the new jail.
Yeah,
that's where he's going.
He'll go to the new jail. Welcome back to Mary Wieden You. Robert Graham is here in the studio with me. He's the president of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, and we spent quite a few minutes on our first segment talking about the new jail and the receiver for the present jail. We move on to some other things because other things are happening, and I was so interested about one of the things I wanted to talk about was economic development in Hinds County because you've got a lot of land. But there's some good news about that, huh?
A lot of good news. Number one, we have a new director of Hinds County Economic Development. His name is Hunter Gardner. We are enthused to have him. He has a lot of experience. He knows the way that we want to go. He has a very concise vision of what he wants the county to look like in economic development. There are places that are coming to Hinds County.
Good.
And I'm very happy about that. Some of them we can talk about, some of them we can't. But
this just makes me curious. Do you have people who are interested in what's the word? Data processing? Not data processing, data storage. Do you have some people interested in that?
Well, on County Line Road, just across the county line is Madison County, and that's where the data center is being built. So we're in contact with the Madison County Supervisors. We work very well with them. We know that that's going to bring a lot of traffic to that area. We recently paved County Line Road. That was a joint venture between Hinds County and Madison County. We have new development on Highway 49 just south of McLean Road. We have a company that's going to come in and build approximately 200 homes in that particular area.
Good. What's the size or cost involved per house?
I believe it's going to be 2,000 to starting or no less than 2,000 square feet to 3,000. That company is out of Michigan. We have another development on Panhaven where an individual is going to build 82 homes. We have another application where a person has applied for a permit to start working on building another set of homes. So northwest Hinds County. Yep. It's beautiful land. It's growing. It's where people want to move. It's just south of Pocahontas off of Highway 49.
Yeah, that's right. I'm thinking, if you don't know that area, you can find that area if you go out the Trace if you don't know.
Right.
The Trace is a good way to go. Like if you're from Rankin County, you want to get to I-20.
Right.
You can avoid a whole lot of stuff, use the Trace, and there's just a lot of stuff going on out there. And so that's 49 and 49 and the Trace, that area.
So homes are going to come, followed by businesses. As you know, the Entergy is also building a new station out in that particular area.
In Hinds County?
And it's going to be in Madison.
Okay.
But it's just right across the road from County Line Road. In addition to that, we have new businesses that are coming.
Like what kind?
Soul City Solar is one.
Solar windows.
Solar panels. Yeah. And then we have another company called Mississippi Solar that's coming. We have some new developments that I can't talk about that's coming to Hinds County.
All right, the enterprising investigative journalists out there listening to this show, then it's up to them, folks. You go find out what they are. But anyway, but it's going to be bringing good money to the county, huh? That's good.
So people are interested. People are moving back. We've recently done some PSAs, and we're planning the Board of Supervisors to do many more PSAs to let people know that we want them to come to Hinds County. We need them to come to Hinds County. One of the things that Hinds County has that the other counties don't have, it's our most valuable asset, and that is we have people.
Oh, good.
And in order to operate these businesses, you got to have people.
Yep.
So we are very happy that we have those particular people, and we are in a push now to get people to move back to Hinds County.
Well, PSAs, folks, if you don't know what that means, it means public service announcement. A PSA is a public service announcement. And so that's what I haven't seen those, but if they're on the air, then I was going to ask, who are the people who are going to live in these houses? Are they people coming to the area, from other parts of the state or out of state, or are they locals going out from the city? But you don't want to take people from your friend, the mayor of Jackson, either, because you are friends, right?
Right. There are people that we are hoping moving in from other states, moving in from other counties. And to mention the mayor of the city of Jackson, John Horhn, we worked very well together with him. We've signed a memorandum of understanding to where we're going to work closely on doing repairing potholes, paving streets in the city of Jackson. There's a different feeling in Jackson.
I was going to ask that there is a sense, isn't there?
There's a different sense that things have changed. The mayor, Mayor Horhn, I've talked with him at least once a week. He's doing a lot of things to actually work on the smaller things that have plagued the city for many years. And what I mean by that, cutting the grass, making sure that the red lights work, making sure that the stop signs are up. No one wants to get to a red light and it's blinking red and you go, okay, when do I go? So, he's working on those things, and he was dealt a pretty bad hand when he got there because he did not have a lot of resources and he did not have a lot of individuals. But now he's working very, very hard on that, and there's a different sense that something is changing in Jackson. Finally, for the good.
That started happening, I think, during the election season. Had a lot of candidates on, and I could just feel that, because people understand in a positive way. It's now or never. You got to do it. And I always say, if Detroit can do it, so can Jackson. And Detroit's a lot bigger place, and if they can do it, and they were down for a long time. And thank goodness this never totally got Detroit. But it was headed that way. And now, if they're coming up, so can Jackson. And it's up to, I think, elected officials like you and the mayor to keep that momentum going in yourself and in your contacts with other people. And for the public, don't say, oh, didn't happen fast enough, or they didn't get to me today, or sit back and relax and imagine the mayor, to some extent, but the mayor, he's just got to be bombarded with stuff. It's okay, well, hey, he got elected. I don't feel sorry for him, but he's wanting it, and he's doing it, and that's such a good thing for Jackson, because you want Jackson to shine.
That's correct. Just to give you an example, yesterday we received a call from a major Hollywood studio regarding possibly coming to Jackson to shoot a movie. And even though it's just the preliminary stages, those calls we used to never get.
Oh.
But now we've gotten that call, and I go, wow. That's something that didn't think could happen 6 or 8 months ago. But I think that change is sometimes bad, but sometimes good.
Oh, yeah. This change is good. I
Yes.
mean, we've made movies here. Movies been made in the city anyway. I would presume that they've been in the county as well, but made in the city. So, but what happens in the city, it certainly bounces on over to the county, obviously, because they're in the county anyway. But so that's why, folks, he would have that sense that a lot of us do about Jackson. I don't even live here. I don't have a dog in this race at all.
Yeah.
I live in Rankin County, but I come to Jackson and into Hinds County.
One of the things that the mayor's working on, Mayor Horhn, and him and I have talked about this, is tax forfeited properties in the county and in the city. I was on the phone yesterday with the Secretary of State's office, and in Hinds County, in the city of Jackson, we have approximately 1,700 parcels of houses that have been forfeited back to the state.
Oh.
And so we're going to have to do some things about that. We're going to have to tear down a lot of homes. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure to get rid of all of the blighted property to where people would want to move here. And the property that can be restored, we want people to restore that particular property and put it back on the tax roll.
Where are they? Are they out in the county? Or are they in some of the cities and towns, or are they just everywhere?
We have 1,740 parcels in the city, and we have approximately 300 parcels outside the city that are tax forfeited.
Yeah, so somebody can make something out of it, folks. This is a good opportunity to get in, at a good, reasonable price. Now, how are your taxes? You've had to have a tax increase.
We've had to have a tax increase, but I look at it in a different way, and I hope that the citizens listen will look at it in a different way. We're trying to move upward, and we call the tax increase a Big Mac. And the reason is
price of a Big Mac.
Right. Well, the taxes were raised approximately $25 a year for households over $100,000. So that's basically $2.50 a month what the tax increase was.
Oh, okay.
So I called it a Big Mac.
Big Mac. Or a Big Mac with fries, maybe.
Big Mac, maybe with fries.
With fries. That's a good way to look at it. That's really good. Nobody likes to hear about that. But now supervisors can, was that done by vote or by a vote by the citizens? Or because you all can raise taxes there's a millage rate, and I can't remember what it is.
We raised the taxes, it's one meal. And the board did that. The Board of Supervisors, we have the authority to do it. And as I stated, it turned out the most expensive house, which is going to be around $250,000. It will go up to $25 a year. Not a month.
Yeah, 25.
A year.
And what's the maximum number of mills that you can raise without a vote on a part of the people?
Approximately 34%. It has to be less than 10% of what our overall millage could be or should be.
And you can also, I'm thinking about Rankin County years ago. I don't know how they did this, but they raised teachers' pay. When there was a teacher's pay raise from the legislature, and they said, well, we're going to add $15,000 to every teacher in the county. I'm like, what? Wow. How can they do that? I don't know how they did that. Nobody's ever answered it, and I've never delved into it. But that seemed a little taxation without representation to me, because I'm kind of I'm sensitive to that stuff. I have to pay
the first thing you have to have in order to do that, you have to have the money to do it.
Well, you got to get it. And so that's how we did it, because our taxes have been going up. Sorry, folks, that's the way it is. And by the way, we do have a contest going on in Rankin County, District 2. Scott Berry was elected a few years ago, and he is leaving, so we got several candidates running for that. But that's one of the things that I think is worth talking about, because people like, well, how can they do that? Well, you are allowed to do certain things.
Right.
But when was the last time, or have you ever had an issue for people to vote on? Or
no, not really. Not really. Basically, the tax issues have not been a problem in the past. We're trying to do other things other than build a jail. We're trying to make sure that we pave roads. We've paved approximately 150 roads in the city of Jackson. Also, we're paving roads out in the county. It's over approximately $100,000 to do about a mile of road inside and outside the city of Jackson. We have done several million potholes.
Whoa.
That's how many potholes are all over the county.
Wow.
And one of the reasons why people ask me all the time about those potholes, we have yazoo clay. And as long as we have yazoo clay, we're going to have potholes.
But you're looking good. So you said you can only stay for this segment, so we have to
Yes.
bid you farewell. But really enjoy this. Come back before long, because I'd like to know, especially when
will.
we know more about these developments and everything like that. And thank goodness you're helping out Jackson with the roads, because we know it needs it. Thanks a lot, Robert Graham. We'll be back on the other side. Let's talk about the State Fair. Boy, they put out something amazing this year. It's very upscale about the State Fair. And whatever else you want to talk about for our final segment. We'll be right back. I love Willie. He's such a mess, you know. I mean, how can you not love him? He's an absolute mess, but that's okay. I saw him in a movie recently on Grit. If you want to look for stuff to watch in the middle of the night,
Grit's great.
Yeah, they do. And this had the three guys, and he's the last one living between Waylon and Chris Christopherson and Willie. And it was done. I don't know when it was done. Maybe in the 70s.
I think if I would have looked at it, I would have thought in the 80s and 90s, probably 2000s, that Christopherson would have made it longer than any of them.
Yeah, but
no.
Man, what was it he had? It was
I don't remember.
Cancer, lung cancer, maybe. I can't remember, but old Willie, he looked pretty good there in the movie. He did, but lately. But hey, that's okay. He's 91 years old. He can look the way he wants to look, and he's so talented and everything. By the way, I was just looking at the national news, and there's a hearing going on now. It's Diddy's court sentencing hearing is okay, and he delivered a thing. I guess it was yesterday called allocution, and where'd it go? It was right here. Allocution in law. It's a defendant's legal right to make a statement to the court before they get sentenced, typically to express remorse. And, like, oh, please feel sorry for me because I didn't mean to do it. And if I get out, I'll be so good. Well, I went to an allocution hearing one time years ago, and it was about like that. Oh, I'm just so sorry. And I was so bad, but now I won't be bad anymore, and I'll be just an angel. Yeah, right. I don't think you're legally bound to it. But anyway, that's what's going on.
If he gets off of this, he'll be emboldened.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, as I went into break, I came into the office this morning and found one of these, it was a directory for the State Fair. And I mean, it usually, was some little piece of paper handout. This is like a magazine, folks. Look at all this stuff in here. It has.
Last year, the online version of that for the last couple of years was very, very strong, but the printed version, it's almost like a collector's item.
It is, and it's worth it's worth having. I think it's stuff like tells you where to go shopping. What do they have like at the trade center? The
Trademark's awesome. Went in there yesterday. They had so many vendors and classic cars and people.
They always have the cars, but but the under stuff like clothing and jewelry, sports and team gear, Tupperware. That's pretty good. And Scentsy.
I saw the Tupperware.
Sweet candy and savory dips. Oh,
accessories, bags, leather goods, all kinds of knives.
Leather goods, outdoor sheds and storage buildings, religious organizations.
I'll tell you, the chicken coops and outdoor mini homes that they had on display were really cool.
Really good. Well,
I mean, the mini house was as big as the chicken coop, but I mean, the chicken coop was as nice as the mini house. So if you're a chicken person, boy, they take it to the nth degree.
Well, I don't know if I told us on there, did I, about buying I bought a halter. Excuse me, not a halter, a bridle for my horse. When I had my horse, I needed to have a nice looking bridle. And so I bought this one. It was a blonde colored leather. And it was braided and everything. It was only $35, which was really cheap for it at the time. Now, I don't know how much it would be. But anyway, and then I got some Lexol, I guess it was, that darkened it because my saddle and everything were dark brown, right? So I darkened it to look like that. And so there was this lady who came out one time to the barn. I don't know whose friend she was or whatever. And she said, she's kind of a snoot. Oh, is that a Crosby? And I should have said, but of course, no.
But of course.
Or Barnesby, whatever. And I said, no, I bought it for $35 at the State Fair. But I should have said yes because it's very good looking. So did you see halters and stuff like that? I guess horse things.
I didn't go through every booth, so I'm not sure. I know during the gun and knife shows that I've been, they have a lot more leather goods. But again, I didn't make it through every booth yesterday.
Well, why not?
It was huge.
You knew you were going to be called to report.
I thought I did a good job. But it was there was so many things, and I had to get the. My cohort who needed to get back here for lunch, so we had to cut it, but down there for a couple hours. But like I said, the amount of booths on the Midway and other, it looked amazing.
And this
really did.
magazine, it's really a magazine, tells you, when things are going to be. And then for each day, there's a directory for each day. The schedule for livestock. This is something I'm sure people are wondering, what's going to be on? Well, let's see now. Today at 8 o'clock started goat showmanship. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock is Junior Market Steer Show. Then it goes on lamb shows. It gives you the times where these things are going to be in, which barn they're going to be in. Monday, 8 o'clock, Junior Beef Breeding Show. Have you ever been down there when the little kids leading these great big animals around? It's precious.
When I was younger,
so
I remember
cute.
that. Yeah, I used to love going through the livestock areas, especially the cows, because it was the first time I'd ever, you'd see them in a distance, but once you got close to them as a kid, you're like, wow, this thing is huge.
It's huge, and they're sweet animals. And like I said, here's a little kid, hauling this big, not hauling, but leading this animal around, and the animal is not fighting or anything.
It's going along with its buddy.
It's a sweet relationship. It really is. But so they have all that kind of stuff. And then opening day on Thursday, that was just. Oh, and then of course they have a map of the place. You've been able to see that. But then, like today was First Responder Friday, and they had some things going on for special for first responders. Tomorrow it's Saturday Tri-State Rodeo. That'll be good. You'll be able to see that. That's $15 at the door at the Fordyce Center. Sunday is Corey Asbury, 2 p.m. in the Coliseum. Monday, Military Monday. And they talk about what ride specials you get. And there's a whole thing in this directory, and I'm sure you can find these directories all over the place. And of course, it's free.
You also
free biscuits. Did you eat a free biscuit yesterday?
I did not yesterday, but I'm going back. I usually go back the second week. It's cooled off just a hair, and I go get all my taffy. I eat the Pronto Pups. I eat as many biscuits as they'll give me. And just kind of walk around and enjoy for a lunch.
It's fun.
But you can go, just so everybody knows, you can go for lunch. It doesn't cost anything to get in the door. The rides are not functioning till 2, I think. But if you want to go eat on the Midway, there's so many great restaurants there up and down the Midway. And so it's free admission for lunch. And then a new event that I mentioned earlier is a motocross event that will be next Saturday, not this, October 11th at 2 o'clock. Kids from 2 or under get in free. Anybody over that's $20 general admission, and I do believe they have VIP passes if you want to get down on the floor. But it's motorcycle tricks and all kinds of interesting stuff,
cool.
And it's a tour that is going around, and it'll be a pretty big deal. And you also have Lee Greenwood.
He's coming for the closing day, right?
That's right. And it was funny. I'd covered earlier that one of the. Yeah, I went back to 2016 to see how many dates that Lee Greenwood had booked. He had like 3, but they were nice size events, like NFL halftime show, and then the Ava Maria Foundation, and one other. This was 2016. If you go look at Lee Greenwood's bookings in 2025, he is booked solid.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's amazing.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
you think you get sick of that song, but he loves it.
But it's just, as I mentioned earlier, it's fun to watch a new generation appreciate older music.
Well, here it is. Here's in the little directory here. It's Monday, October 13th, and it is at 8 p.m. Following, let's see, where is it? A fireworks show following the performance. With a taste of Dixie National Stage. So, it's going to be a good thing. There'll be a Military Monday, by the way. That's a week from Monday on the 13th. Free admission for active and military veterans as well. I mean, all that's very cool stuff. I just noticed one of my favorite topics, a list of, look at the food vendors. You get
that's the ones I'm talking about. Yeah, it's amazing.
Vendors.
I haven't seen that many
that's a lot.
in years, nor I thought that there seemed to be more it just seemed to be tighter and very well organized, given that there was an increase in vendors. And I would tell you, I think you're missing out if you don't go down there and try lunch one day or two if you're in the vicinity, because parking was easy, in and out. You go enjoy for lunch.
Yes,
you can go to the Trademark. They're open and ready to roll.
It was last year I went maybe, and I went down. I always come downtown the back way. It used to be the old way.
Jefferson.
I come down. What do you call it?
Pearl?
No, I come down Old Fannin, and then I scoot on over to Airport
go across
Road.
the Woodrow Wilson Bridge.
Yeah, I do. I do cross that to what is it? Flowwood Drive. Take Flowwood Drive down to Casey's Lane. Yeah. That's where I check out.
You got to check Foy's out on the way.
Got to go past Foy's and then cut across the bridge and come up Jefferson, and you can get in. Well, it was that way last year. You could get in the back there, and it's free parking, and it's lovely. It was paved. It was like really nice spots. I was very impressed with that. that.
It's easy to get in and out. And I will also say that and commend those that finally made the decision to tear down the old hotel that was an eyesore on the front side of the fairgrounds that faced I-55. If you drive down there now, you're not going to see this huge pink piece of junk that's been sitting there for years. It's down. They're cleaning it all up, and it's going to take a while. But let me tell you, it looks so much better.
Good.
It really takes away the eyesore. And again, as Mr. Graham was saying, there's a lot of that's going to happen. But that was a big eyesore.
Well,
that was out of the way.
What was the name of that hotel? It was
the Clarion or something like that, or what was it called?
Something like that.
I'm not sure.
Somebody don't know, but that was always a famous place for luncheons and stuff like that. Yeah, meeting rooms. I don't know what happened to it. Why it fell in disrepair. It was either
that whole strip through there and then across. I mean, if you really look at Hair and Gear, they're on the other side of the interstate. The old junior league and then the old YMCA buildings have been abandoned too. So it's going to take a while. But having people like Mr. Graham on task, they got a plan. And again, one of the big pieces is you got to move people back. They got to come back.
Well, I tend to forget that that the county, the supervisors are also in Jackson. I forget about that because this is District 1, which is Jackson. I tend to think that there's there's like a gateway that goes. There isn't.
And parts of it.
And that's a smart thing because to do those roads.
I cut through Northwest and Northern Hinds County a great deal going to the Delta. I'm going to tell you, it is picturesque, beautiful. A lot of people don't know that as you're going out toward Edwards and all of that area, absolutely some of the prettiest land in Mississippi, rolling hills and oaks, and it's just beautiful.
Well, I've been that way, but I haven't noticed
as you get further out.
Yes, I go out that way. So if I'm going to go that way, or if I'm going to go over to I-20 for some reason, I always take the Trace, which is kind of a weird place because you see deer standing on the side of the road. In the daytime, it's like they don't want to be there at night. They're just standing there waiting and waving, saying hello. But anyway, so the State Fair, good weather weekend, huh? It'll be good for that. Sunday's going to be my time for my dog to show her stuff at the dog park. It's so funny because she's a young, lovely little lady, and she's a little over a year old, and she's very fast. She's a runner, which if you know dogs, which I didn't know this part because I never had a runner before, but she's a runner, and I'm really proud of her because, hey, she was smoking out a Roddy the other day. Ha, ha, ha. Thought that was cool. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday.